Hey everybody, Jimmy with the Triple C Collective here to bring you another episode of Commentary Track. I am bringing you Season 1, Episode 7 of the Acolyte Choice. Really excited about this episode. I do have to say, I do have some hang-ups about this episode. Excuse me. At the beginning, at the top here, this episode is the Jedi, flashback, of events of what we saw in episode 3 of all of those flashbacks of all of that, because we saw what happened via the May and Osha side of things virtually. This one we get the Jedi side. I really liked the content of this episode. I hated the placement of it. I really felt episode 3 should have been the first episode of this series. Then we got episode 1 and 2, and then we would get this in the fourth slot. Because I really thought we were just really cooking with episodes, 5 and 6, going back to back like that. And I thought that this was a huge kind of slam on the brakes of momentum of the story and stuff to get this here. So I kind of wanted to preface that if I tend to seem a little down on this episode, I was very torn on it, because I liked what we saw. I liked the answers that we got. I liked the explanations and stuff that we got here, but the true placement of it was absolutely baffling to me. I just did not like it. So I had a lot of hang-ups here. So I do want to be clear. I did like what happened in this episode, the content of the episode. Just really hated the placement of it in the overall story here. I really felt it should have been in the first 4 episodes as opposed to one of the last 4 episodes. Anyhow, so we get to Brendok 16 years ago. We see the Jedi have arrived at Brendok. They're taking different samples in the forest. They're setting up different, sensors and devices. We get a little campfire with everybody. Torben's encouraged to eat, but his mind's not there or on the task or anything like that. He just wants to get out. He wants to get out of Dodge, go back home, go back to Coruscant. He's 7 weeks that we've been here is the absolute hell for him. He just does not want to be there anymore. And he's ultimately, Torben's ultimately if there was anything for us to find out here, we would have found it already. And Indara's well, this planet was cataloged as lifeless, due to a hyperspace disaster. So interesting about that a hyperspace disaster wiped out life on a planet or anything. Just interesting little bits. But she Indara continues but as we can see, this planet Brendok is thriving, filled with life, plants, it's a big deal, here. And Indara's you need to calm yourself, do not center on all of your anxieties and stuff. And he's just if I knew what we were doing was important, I would have an easier time doing this. And then Soul's we're looking for a vergence, and he's what? A vergence, is a concentration of force energy. And there's a big vergence, force energy concentration, here in this location on this planet. And, they're trying to see if somebody could yield that or can take control of the force in a way and create life, like we see on this planet. And this is all coming from Soul going to Torben, and he's that should be a power that is studied and protected. There would be nothing more important to the Jedi. It's a noble mission. Kelnaka's with a. Then we get a cut to like Kelnaka with a detector. Torben is like not really appreciating what's going on. Soul is like calling to Torben. He's disturbed and unbalanced. And Dara's like, whoa, 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 do not confuse his feelings with like yours and stuff, okay? And Dara is like, I don't give him answers to like I don't give answers to like ease his mind. I teach him to seek the answers himself. And like Soul disagrees with that, and Dara's like, well, that's why I have a Padawan and you don't. So Soul goes north to go follow the river. Now we cut to the Bunta tree, and we remember this before because we remember like May and Osha playing here, and Osha kind of like playing with the hummingbird, just testing her little force powers, not like trying to be like super mean or cruel or anything. And then like May kind of comes up and like uses it a little bit more, and this entire time Soul is just watching it. So we have the yellow Bunta tree and everything there. We see Mother Coral come in, yell at him. We see this all basically through Soul's point of view now. Soul calls to Indara, like, hey, we're not alone, and like kind of moves forward. Then we get a title sequence, which is always great. Love the title sequence. Then we get to the Coven Stronghold. We like Soul sees Coral like take the girls inside. He moves towards like that platform door and examines it, and then decides to like climb up the wall. We see Soul eavesdropping on the witches there. He's the one who makes the sound that gets the girls sent to go train, and then Coral, Jesus, Mother Coral goes to go check on like what that creek sound was. So we see like it's Soul, just sneaking around, and he sees some of the witches like around the opening there, and he gets out of the coven. We cut back to the Jedi camp now, and he's like explaining it. He's like, I don't know if it's a Force cult. He's like, I think they're like witches. Torben's like, Night Sisters. He's like, we don't have like all the information here. Let the Night Sisters don't raise younglings or train them or anything like that. Soul's like, well, they don't really treat these girls like children or anything like that. Dara's like, I gotta go to the ship, to the council. We've got to like hurry up or not hurry up, but we've got to reach them. Soul's like, we've got to hurry up and go save these girls. I really fear for them. Soul explains how he saw the witches like preparing for like some sort of ceremony tonight and stuff, and he's like, what if the girls are in danger? He's like, I know you would defer to the council, but he's like, come see what I have seen. And they go head to the coven. They get to the coven stronghold. They've got the platform elevator. They're like, oh, it must be an old mining site. Kelnaka is able to break in, and is like breaking in, and Dara eventually is just like, I want to go in myself. Torben's like, I want to escort you, and she's like, no, too risky to go in as a group. They'll take it as a threat. Soul is like back to Torben. It's like, there's like 50 of them in there. And Indara's response is 50 women and 2 children. Soul wants to go in as a team, and Kelnaka gets them inside. And they do go in as a team. And inside the coven, they walk into the Ascension ceremony, which we had seen previously in episode 3. Indara, excuse me, Indara does introduce everyone. Mother Anissa does her whole introduction. Mother of the Coven, these, women are under my protection. Coral, Mother Coral's like, you are trespassing. And they were like, well, we thought this, Indara's like, we thought this planet was uninhabited. And, Mother Anissa's like, hard to believe the all-knowing Jedi were unaware of their surroundings. Then we cut to inside Torben's mind, and this is some cool stuff. Because we definitely didn't see it before. So this was awesome to see. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. We're inside, Torben's mind. Mother Anissa, or Anastasia, Anastasia is inside there messing with him. Knows his home planet, traveled, so far only to be trapped here. Strong, Jedi repeat. Your natural desires are surpassing you. She's just really messing with him. We get a slight cutback to Soul talking with Osha, and Torben is hearing all of this as well, muddied underwater because Mother Anastasia is talking and messing with them. We go back inside. She's like, we know you wish to go back to Coruscant, but your master denies you. She was like, I would not keep you from what you want. I would always let you have what you need. Why not ask me? Go on, ask me. And he's like, I want to return to Coruscant. He's told to kneel, and his eyes go black. And then we cut back to outside of Torben's mind, and is it's if you want him back to his right mind, you will leave right now. And then but Osha kind of steps up and is like, I want to show the Jedi what you taught me, Mother. Let me take the test. And then Indara says you cannot deny Jedi have the right to test potential Padawans with your permission, of course. That's the first time we've ever really they put that in there in episode 3. The first time I've ever really heard with your permission, and of course, because usually for the most part it does seem like the Jedis were always not just kind of taking kids if they were force sensitive, not necessarily with a bunch of permission or anything, but it also didn't seem like it was super I don't know. It was always weird, so that always stuck out to me. And so yeah, it kind of seemed again another L for the Jedi here of them not really asking, kind of demanding here. Yeah, the idea that the Jedi do have a right to train a kid and then take said kid away from their mother, their family, their their father or whatever guardian is kind of wild. This is absolutely crazy. I get the idea of training a new Jedi and stuff, but just straight up abducting them from their family when they're so young is wild. It's crazy sauce. So eventually Mother Anastasia lets go of Torben, and she agrees that the scouts will bring the girls, Osha and May, to them tomorrow at midday. Inside the Jedi ship, it is Indara just kind of staring at Torben. we see Soul kind of like approaching, and Indara's like, clever to test the girls, allows me to ask for guidance, and Soul's like, well, I feel a connection to Osha, and Indara's like, we can't take the test seriously. Osha's too old to join, and Soul's like, I feel like she's like meant to be like my Padawan. And like Indara's like, the Coven won't let her go, won't let her leave. So, that's just not gonna happen. It's bad. It's strange. And he's like, but I worry for her because like they marked her sister May with like the dark magic. You saw the like mark on there. And Indara's like, yeah, like a ceremonial markings are like customary in many cultures, like, but he's like, Osha didn't have one, and he's like, I worry that she's not safe. And it's like, Soul, man, you've been a really great character so far, but like, man, I don't like this idea that like she needs to be mine, has to be mine, she should be my Padawan and stuff. It's just kind of not what you really want from Soul and stuff here. Tough look. Get the idea of like what May and Kamir and everybody had kind of been like saying or hinting at or whatever to this point, kind of about Soul. Yeah, like I get it. Not a great look, my guy, unfortunately. But Soul again is like, but I believe she wants to leave with us. And like Indara's again, it's like, whoa, do not confuse your feelings for Osha's, with like what you want. Then we cut to the Jedi camp. Again, at the midday, we get a great shot of the mountains. Torben is meditating as the Coven is approaching. Torben takes a sample of May's blood, and Indara and Soul are waiting. They explain the test, and May very sternly and very kind of meanly, just is like, doesn't really care. What do you want me to do? Okay. When you see, they're like, when we tell you an image is up, tell us what it is. Spaceship, castle, planet, necklace, and all of that. So, and then finally they're like even on the last one, Soul's like, the image hasn't even showed up yet. She's like, can I go back now? And then they ask about, Soul asks about the Ascension. What was that last night? She was like, Ascension, what is that? And, Indara asks, is that what you're marking as part of it? And she's like, do you like it? And Indara's like, it's very beautiful, and it must be very important. And, May's like, Mama says Ascension means Osha and I will lead the Coven that, and then they're like, so that's why, you have a marking. They're like, but you're children, how can you become leaders? And May's like, I don't know, but everyone must be, she goes like, everyone must walk through fear to be sacrificed to fulfill their destiny. And she's like, may I go now? And they're like, yes, go ahead. Soul's like, May was instructed to fail. She's like, I would like to try a different approach with the other child. And Indara's like, you may. So for Osha's test, we cut to like him being like, there's other children there, thousands of children like us, but he's like, it takes the courage to say what you want. And she's like, I want to be a Jedi. He's like, you must have the courage to tell the truth. They continue the test. Osha gives 100%. Indara breathes deeply. They're, Osha goes and whatnot. Torben comes back with the with the blood samples. Torben goes to run the blood samples. Sol and Kelnaka finish the field work, and then Indara is going to wait for contact from Coruscant. And Sol's like, but Osha passed, and and she's like, I will meet you at the camp when I hear answers. Sol has this feeling that something is going wrong. And then we cut to later on, and Indara's like, yeah, the council said no, there's no sanction bringing in the twins to Coruscant or separating from the Coven, and Sol's like, but there's something dangerous about their woman, about these women. You saw what they were capable of, the twins aren't safe. And Indara's like, whoa, they say we have interfered too much already. Torben's like, will they let us come home? No. And Sol's like, let me talk to him. And Indara's like, no. Already a decision has been made, Sol. Osha passed. And he's like, but Osha passed. And Indara's like, yeah, after you coached her through, the test. He's like, and Indara's like, don't alter these girls' destiny just because you formed an emotional attachment to Osha. He's like, that's not what's happening here. I want to do what's best for Osha, and Indara again is like, you do not get to decide that. And Torben comes back with the blood result tests, and he's like, they have a high, M count, very, force sensitive, but he does see something weird. Their symbiotes, are the same. What's a symbiote? They are twins. No, exactly the same. Identical, would have different symbiotes. This is basically impossible, is what Torben's getting at, without some sort of manipulation. But now we're on Brendock. There's a Virgins here, and they're talking about tapping into power dense enough to split one consciousness into two bodies and having the twins be basically artificially created. Again, something that only a Virgins could create, this type of power. And then Torben's like, oh my gosh, this is it. And, Indara's like, no, Torben, stop. Don't you see? This is the proof of the Virgins. The girls are the proof of the Virgins. This is our ticket home. This is how we get out of here. And Torben takes off on a speeder. Sol falls on a speeder as well. And then Kelnaka and Indara fall in the ship. We get to the Coven stronghold, and May is now attacking Osha in the room. Coral takes May for a walk, and May is screaming mama. And in the forest we see Torben and Sol. They're making their way to the Coven, back in the Coven stronghold. There's the conversation with Osha and Mother Anastasia, and Osha's like, I want to be a Jedi. She's like, I will discuss the situation here. I will ponder your wish as we do. And Osha's like, I love you, Mama. And Mother Anastasia is like, I know, no, go along. Now Coral sends May to go stop Osha from leaving, and is like, if you don't want her to leave, then you go stop her yourself. Then stop her then, because the Jedi won't warn before they attack. Coral is very happy to see May mad, and but like this is a bad move here by Coral because it definitely has the domino effect of May setting the whole place on fire. The coven, Anastasia then goes to the coven like council basically, and the coven does not want Osha to go. They're like, she's just a child, they're like, they're yet to discover their powers. And Anastasia's like, is it our decision to make? She wants to, go. And they're like, we just cannot allow her to go. And Anastasia's like, well, she's choosing it. She's chosen it. She's decided to go already. And, they're all like, well, do you want to sacrifice our future for her? For the wish of a child? And Anastasia's like, my children are our future. Her wish must be considered. I may be, and then another witch is like, you may be their mother, but you're also our leader. And Anastasia's like, right now I choose mother. And so then we see May destroying the platform controls from the inside, so no one can get in or out. Coral starts having the witches arm themselves. Torben is at the platform door, and it's like the girls are locked on the inside. Soul kind of does that reach out to see May and Osha, and May is on the outside of Osha's door being like, you can't go, you're stuck here now. Soul to Torben is like, you can't let them inside your head again, and I need you. Soul to Torben's like, you can't let them get inside your head. I really need you here with me to help these girls get out. And he's like, don't worry, got my head on lockdown basically. And then we see, again, May locking Osha in the room, burning the book, and May just kind of staring at the fire we get to the Jedi ship, and this is where we see Indara and Kanaka are on their way, and Kanaka basically jumps from the ship, and he's like, you got to get in there and stop them before the fight. Coral inside the coven, Coral is Mother Coral's moving everyone to a common room to prepare for battle. Jedi saying the Jedi breached the fortress again, and Mother Anastasia is like, I told you not to use violence. And Mother Coral's like, I told you I would die before I let the Jedi take my children. And we see May then tossing down the burned book, and the fire starts to engulf everything. May is running away. Soul and Torben finally get inside, and then the witches kind of begin to surround, and the Jedi meet. Coral, Anastasia, and Soul and Torben. And he's like, we come with noble intentions. We, wish to see if you will allow Osha to, and Anastasia is like, you wish to see if we will allow Anastasia to go with you, to be raised by an institution instead of a family. So it's like, where do they come from? How are they created? And then the witches, start noosing, their bows and taking aim. Anastasia is like, someday all those noble intentions you have will destroy all the Jedi in the galaxy. Torben moves, and then May comes in yelling. Soul to Torben is like, whoa, 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 whoa. And then we get a call of fire. Coral looks to attack Torben. Anastasia turns into some smoke thing. Torben is fighting Coral. Soul lights his lightsaber and kills Mother Anastasia as she's like dying in Soul's arms. She's like, I was gonna let Osha like go with you. You know, it's what she wanted. You know, and Anastasia's like, she chose you. Soul, you messed up, man. You messed up. And so now May is crying. Coral yells at May to run. Osha escaping like the room and everything. Coral is fighting Soul now. Torben is taking on all of the arrows, you know, like all the archers and stuff. Soul basically refuses to like really fight Coral. The explosions kind of start to like be set off and everything. Soul does end up cutting Coral's staff in half. Soul sends Torben after the twins to go start looking for him. Coral turns into smoke, and then we can't really see her. And then she's like, you should not have brought him. And Torben's like, nah. My mind is fortified. You're not getting back in here again. And she's like, not you. Him. And bam, we see Kalnaka, the Wookiee, being possessed by Mother Coral. And we see like all the witches basically in a room, kind of like, you know, I don't know, kind of like waving, like swaying is a better word, swaying back and forth and stuff, and like controlling Kalnaka. And Kalnaka's a Wookiee. He's a tough dude. We've all seen Chewie when he gets mad. You know, be careful. Wookiee will rip your arms off. Let the Wookiee win. We know all of it. And now, a Jedi Wookiee who's being controlled by some witches. Yeah, this isn't good. We see that it is Kalnaka who is the one who attacks Corbin and gives him the scratch on his face and ultimately kills his eye there. Soul is able to pull Kalnaka off Torben, and like Torben falls down. Indara kind of comes in as Kalnaka is like choking Soul, and they're able to knock Kalnaka down, and Indara is like grabbing on to like Kalnaka's head, trying to break the concentration. Trying to break the concentration with the witches, and Indara does, and the witches die. What? Like, dang. That was wild. We see all of the witches die, and Indara has Soul go and get the twins. Osha and May are meeting on the bridge, and you know, they got the whole mama is dead, like, what have you done? Soul is approaching. He sees the dead witches. Then he sees the girls. He's using the Force to hold up the bridges, and he has to ultimately make a choice to let one go in order to save the other, and he lets go of May to go save Osha. We get back to the Jedi ship. You know, Torben's like, I'm sorry. You know, Kalnaka is to send a message out because he's up and about. And Indara is livid. You know, I warned you both not to like interfere. So I was like, I just wanted the twins to be safe. And, you know, and Dar's like, no, you never thought of any of the consequences or anything. And he's like, I had to make a choice. Soul and Indara kind of like wrestle a little bit. Torben calls out like, hey, call it quits. And like, you know, Soul is clearly like disturbed. Torben cuts to the chase. Is like, what will we tell? Excuse me. What will we tell the council and the truth? You know, May burned down the witch's fortress. Everybody else was lost. And Soul's like, I must face the council. And Dara's like, why would you do that to her after all she's been through? You know, take away like the dream as well that you gave her. Like, what are you talking about? Before you throw yourself to the mercy of the council, you know, ask yourself why you made this choice. Then we see Osha call out, and Soul goes to her and is like, you know, she's like, where am I? And he's like, we're on our way to Coruscant. And she's like, what happened? Soul tells May, you know, or Soul tells Osha that May started a fire, and On starts the lie for the next 16 years, and the episode ends. And I gotta say, like I said, the content of this episode was so good. I just hated the placement at episode 7 of an 8-episode series. I really think episode 3 should have been the first episode. Then we get episode 1 and 2 in the episode, and like slots 2 and 3 have this episode 7 in episode 4 slot, and then we have all the episodes continue that way. You know, we have 4, 5, 6, and 8, and you know, I don't know. I like that. So I was very annoyed with the placement of episode 7 choice because it's the flashback of Brendock. I love the content of it, and that's about it. I am JimmE with the Triple C Collective. I want to thank you all for joining us. I hope you all stay safe. Please like and subscribe to our video and to our channel. And as always, may the Force be with you.